Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Jack's Coffee Break. So we are back in the Void Menagerie after what feels like a really long time. For me, I think it's been like a month? I don't know, you're gonna get this in a playlist, so for you it might have been like 2 seconds ago. Time is weird like that. So last episode we built for the quokkas, which I've got plenty around here. They seem to really be enjoying their habitat. Even though we set it up for guest interaction, it doesn't really seem like a lot of them actually come out of the path, which is interesting. They all want to stay like right here. But otherwise, yeah, it's been a nice little habitat. It's really been working out for them. They seem quite content. However, that's not really what we're here to focus on today because we've got another animal. So we spun the wheel at the end of the episode, as we do for all of these, and we rolled sloth bears. Now, part of the premise of this particular map is that it's a randomizer, right? So not only do I want to roll the dice for which animal we're going to get, but anytime that there's another choice that we can make, like a major one about like what it's going to look like in terms of our palette and stuff, that's all determined by a wheel as well. So the sloth bear doesn't have a lot of options in terms of which continents we draw on. It only gets Asia. But it does have different biomes that we can select. So we've got grassland, temperate, and tropical. So you know the deal. It goes into the wheel, we spin said wheel, and then we find out what we're building. You will also notice that I've got a few extra tools with me today. So, for example, if you're looking at this screen, you'll probably notice that we have a short-faced bear in the crowd, and you're probably thinking, I don't remember that in a DLC. That is because my game is slightly modded. Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Yeah, I took the Zookeeper pack as an opportunity to go ahead and just mod the game. So that'll be coming out in big ways and small, you know, as we progress. So with that said, let's go ahead and pop over to the wheel real quick and figure out what we're even doing today. Alright, so I've got our 3 biomes, grassland, temperate, and tropical. Let's go ahead and spin. Alrighty, it looks like we are getting a grassland habitat. That's very interesting, alright. So with this habitat being grassland in Asia, that kind of leaves us in an interesting position about where to put this map in terms of the greater context, right? So here is our full zoo right now, along with a whole bunch of just random floating objects. Don't worry about that, it'll get cleaned up someday. So you can see that we're working with a lot of vertical structures. We got a lot of floating islands. However, one of the things that I did want to leave open was this building back here. Oh, and we've got an escaped animal. I'll go deal with that in a moment. I'm sure it's fine. Let's just go ahead and pause this for a moment so we can focus. So we have this little building thing that we're currently using to show off the lions. It's kind of part of their habitat viewing. However, I did want to leave open the possibility of this wall kind of getting broken down and expanding off into this direction, which I think would be very nice. It would help to balance out the layout a little bit, which is currently something we are struggling with. So yeah, I think that's probably what we'll do. And at some point in time, we'll need to expand over into, like, the forward direction, so that way this is more at the center instead of the front. But that will be as we get more animals in. So let's go ahead and start building out the platform for today, and then see where it takes us, shall we? Okay, so we finally have our bears in. Here they are. Go ahead and see. This is our female. Hello, madam. You are very shaggy. They're really cool looking animals. I haven't gotten to build for them yet, so this is going to be kind of a first for me. So looking at this habitat, we've got a small problem. I gave the bears way too much space, as you can probably tell. So if we look at our space requirements, we have 5305. When we get the male bear in, it's going to be... the required space is going to be like 900. So ordinarily, it's not a problem if you use too much space on just one habitat. It is going to be a problem, however, for like viewership and managing space and confines, so this is maybe a little excessive. Like, it's nice to steer on the larger side for habitat, but this is too much. So, with the layout being what it is, I think the actual answer for us is going to be to split this into thirds. You know, split this into different habitats. What we'll do is we'll remove passability off this bridge, keep it something that, like, guests can interact with and still enjoy, but we'll essentially have this platform as a habitat, and then this platform, and then this lower space down here. And I think that that's going to be what actually ends up happening. So let me go ahead and do a little bit of terraforming just to make sure that this is a design that can work. So that way we've got, you know, 1, 2, and 3, and then I'll come back after that. So we are back in now. So I've edited this little bit of terrain here, removed this bridge, and rebuilt our little borders, and so this is now what we're working with. This is a far more reasonable 1408, which if we need to expand it a little bit, it's really not a big deal. So we can go ahead and start decorating all of this out. So this is going to be a Asiatic grassland, which admittedly I'm not terribly familiar with, so I'm gonna go look up some references and make sure that I actually know what I'm doing here. And I've got some interesting ideas for what we can do with this little archway through here, but it will take a little bit of fiddling, so that might be something I do off screen, depending. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do some Googling, make sure that I have the right ideas for what I want to do for this habitat, and then we'll come back in. Okay, so now that we have the preliminary rock work done, we have both bears in, and we have some of the vegetation kind of put in. Now we could stop right here, but we can't. We can't actually do that because they don't have any climbing space. So there are a couple of ways that we could handle this. The first is to just give them more climbing frames, build up, you know. But I think one of the other cool things that we could do is, what if we built down for them? Sort of bring them closer to this level, because right now, all of these people, this is just a pass-through area. I've done little to no work on it lately. I need to get back to it. But this whole area downstairs is basically empty. And our two options are that either we build some kind of path going down this way, or that we build another habitat island through here for them to look at. Sort of a step case area. Probably most likely we'll need to do both. So what I'm thinking perhaps is that we will go ahead and build out a stairway that can bring us down to this sort of second level underneath all of this platform down here. And we don't need to use all of this platform space, we just need to use a little bit of it. My son is aggro today. I don't know why he's aggro, but he is. He has everything that he could possibly need in life, but he's upset. And so round. He's so beautifully round. Orbular, even. Anyway, that tangent aside, it's not a Jack's Coffee Break video unless Ollie interrupts, is it? So anyway, what I'm thinking is that it would be really cool to have some kind of mine shaft that goes down into a secondary level down here. So I think that that's what we're going to do next, is expand this platform a little bit. Now, I'm fully aware that we just built this entire gigantic platform, and I could just expand this way. I really could, but I've been thinking about it for a couple of days, and I have other things that I want to do with this space, I think. So, we're going to build downstairs because I think that it's just going to look better, quite frankly. So that's the next plan. Okay, so that's the bottom floor done. Surprisingly, it didn't take that surprisingly, it didn't take all that long. I will mention, though, that part of the reason is because I used these pre-built workshop items. These are made by Jay Rassick on the workshop. They are amazing. Just so cool. And yeah, this is his cave set. I strongly recommend it if you're looking for good workshop items to smooth a workload or anything. These are really, really good. I use them all the time. How are our bears getting down there, though? So I built this cute little mine shaft, and one of our bears has already been kind enough to test it out for us. He made it all the way to the ground, and then decided, I don't actually want to be down here, and then turned back around. But, yeah, so it does work, and as far as I know, they have enough traversable space. We're just going to double check that real quick, just to make sure that nothing too much has changed, you know, that we don't have any weirdness. Yeah, it looks like all of this is fine, and we're not in any worry of escape. So, don't even have to, like, glass it over. So overall, very good. The downside is, of course, that there's really no way for our keeper to get down here at the moment. Now that may be something that I have to fix on my own. We'll see. There might be a way that we can, like, add a keeper gate that goes down into here somehow. We'll find out. I might do that off camera just because this is taking a bit long. But yeah, so overall, I think this is nicely well built. So that means that we can focus on the top side again. So yeah, I'm going to figure out how to get a keeper down there because, like I said, it's just a straight mine shaft. There's no way for a human to get down there, and then we will go from there. Okay. So our keeper can now get down to the second floor as well. Is this the most attractive thing I've ever built? No. Is it safe? No. No, it's not. No. We would definitely get sued for employee endangerment. Oh well. It's the solution we have. It works with the game mechanics. That's all I'm going to ask it to do. It also provides a secondary way down, in case, you know, our bears don't want to climb for whatever reason. So, yeah, overall, I'd say it's pretty good. Only question is, I actually don't know if the bears can use this. They sure think they can. Which is cool. Good for them. Yeah. So, really not a bad situation. So, I mentioned before that, I'd gotten free build. You've already seen me use some of it over there for that little pond. And part of that is modded assets, but this right here is the thing that has made free build worth it for this park, because I can just pull these borders out into thin air. And it's okay. So we no longer have to worry about escapes. It's basically completely turned things around for the bonobo habitat, which originally, you know, I wanted to have bits that floated out into the sky. Ended up having to move things around a ton, still couldn't get it to work. And then finally, and with free build enabled, I've been able to just fix the barriers completely so that way we don't have that problem anymore. It's been really nice. Really, really nice. Yeah, so just a lot of good utility, quite frankly. So I think now is a good time for us to go ahead and finish doing all of our foliage. Now that we know that the bears are going to have plenty of room. Look at all that climbing space. And they have a decent bit of walking space. If we need more, we can always just move or rearrange that bottom floor a little bit, just to free things up. And then I think that calls it good. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and finish planting. Okay, and with the grasses added, I think, honestly, I think we're done. I think this is good. It looks fine. Um, yeah, it passes with basically everything else in the zoo right now. I mean, the elephant habitat will always drive me up a wall, but elephants are just hard to build for. The rest of it, I think we're on par. So, I like it. I think it's good. We've got that additional weirdness factor with the dual levels, and one of them is just this giant cave, just for the sake of having a giant cave. I think it brings a little bit more cohesiveness to the different layers. So you have this floor, and then you can look down on this floor. You're sort of on par with the bonobos whenever they come up here, which sometimes they do. Sometimes. Not right now, but yeah, just sort of brings you to all of the different layers, I think. And then it gives us a little bit of an idea what to do with this whole thing. I will get around to it. I will. Someday. Might not be for a while, but someday I will. And then, of course, we have our next two habitat plots laid out as well, which is really nice. So, basically guarantees we know where we're building. Right? We're gonna finish this out. So, yeah, overall, I think I'm just happy with this. The view as you walk through over here is not fantastic. I really didn't pay attention to this sort of sightline over here. But really, I think when you come through here, you'll have already seen those bears, and so you're really going to be interested in what's down in this valley, and then on this side of the platform. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and sit with our bears for a little while. And I think that's honestly basically an episode. So, here's our sloth bear. I don't know if this one is our male or our female. Oh, and they're off. Honestly, I'm quite surprised by just how small they are. I knew that they might be, but I don't know. It's just surprising. The fur texture on these guys is just incredible, you know? Snuffle, snuffle. And they're so droopy. So there's our little mine shaft. Oh goodness. This bear didn't even make it 5 minutes and decided to have a nap. I don't think you can hear her snoring, but she is. She just is having a nap real quick. Oh, here's our other one coming through. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that we're going to see them downstairs, likely. The only other thing that I need to add, and I think that that will help, is we need food and enrichment, which I totally forgot to do. So let's just slap that down real quick, shall we? Let's have some food enrichment down here, I think. So that way they're very incentivized. So we'll have 10 up there. And up there. And they get access to the beaver pool. Might be interesting. And then let's have a box. Yeah, perfect. So now their enrichment is met. They should have clean water right here. And then we might not need a food tray. If you don't have one, the keeper just dumps it at the door. Which is not the worst. It's got a pretty good sight line on it, so I think that's gonna be alright. Yeah, and now they are as happy as can be. But yeah, so thank you all for joining us. This has been, it's been an interesting episode to build for sure. Yeah, just overall, I think the build itself has been a lot of fun. I will say that. This episode took a long time for me to record, just because there's been so much going on, but I'm not, you don't care about that, let's be honest here. But no, the habitat itself has been very enjoyable. I was not expecting that we were going to have to build a mine, but I think overall it's better for it, you know? I think that it adds a little bit more of a dynamic aspect. And it meets the bear's requirements quite nicely, which I wasn't expecting. So, yeah, overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Of course, if you want to stick around to figure out what we're building for next week, that will be in just a moment. I need to add the new DLC animals to the wheel real quick. I'm not going to be adding modded creatures onto that role, just because I want on some level for you guys to be able to, like, do this stuff that I'm doing, without having to mod your game. And adding modded animals is kind of a whole situation. So we'll just keep it to what's actually available by Frontier. But yeah, so that is going to come up next. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you next time. Stay safe, have fun, and happy building. Alrighty, so for my people who stick around for the wheel, let's go ahead and spin and see what we're building for next week. Oh, what are we getting? Okay, so here's the deal, right? I have the box animals. My brain isn't working, but y'all know what I mean, the box animals. I have those on the wheel, and that means that whenever we get one of those, we have to figure out how to incorporate one of those into one of the buildings. So obviously that's not going to take an entire episode. So what I'm going to do, we're going to have a twofer. So we're gonna get an eastern brown snake. Okay, alright, and now let's go ahead and hide this choice. And what are we gonna get next time? Domestic pig? Okay. Well, I don't know how we're going to incorporate that into the chaos that we've built, but you know what? That's the point of a randomizer. You don't know what you're gonna get. So sure. I mean, at least it's a relatively... like, at least it's an animal from this year, you know? Like, there's that. So yeah, I guess that's what we're building next week. Hope you all enjoy. I'll see you next time.